Crypto has been in news lately, with Bitcoin hitting all-time highs of 56,000. It is being seen by many as a currency of future, a system that will replace the current inefficient system. However, India plans to ban all the private crypto and launch its own digital currency. So why is India taking such steps? To understand this, we must first understand the technology underlying the cryptocurrency, that is blockchain. Blockchain is based on two fundamental pillars. One, decentralization, and second, cryptography, that is encryption. First, let us understand what is decentralization. In current centralized economy, there is a single central clearing party that acts as a counterparty to all the transactions in the economy. However, crypto is a decentralized peer-to-peer transfer technology where there is no such single party who has all the powers, and so the trust is not on such single party but on the system itself. To better understand this, let us take up an example. Let us say that Agam pays Krupa rupees 10,000. Now let us see how this transaction will be posted under traditional banking system and the new blockchain technology. Under traditional banking system, Agam will instruct his bank to transfer rupees 10,000 to Krupa. Agam's bank, upon receiving such instruction, will deduct rupees 10,000 from Agam's personal account and transfer it to Krupa's bank. Krupa's bank, upon receiving such amount, will credit Krupa's personal account. In this way, without moving the money physically, the amount is transferred from Agam's account to Krupa's account. Now let us see how this will get posted in blockchain. In blockchain, the transaction of Agam paying Krupa will be first digitally signed by both Agam and Krupa using a combination of public key and a secret private key. Since in blockchain it is decentralized and there is no single party maintaining such database, this transaction needs to be broadcasted over the entire network so that the network enters the transaction into their own database to make this transaction valid. So Agam and Krupa will now broadcast this message, this transaction over the network. Over the network, these transactions are being sent to the nodes of the network. These nodes maintain the database wherein it contains a history of transactions that have occurred. These nodes are technically called the miners. Each miner has a set of ledger unique to themselves. It is miner's responsibility to verify the authenticity of the digital signatures of the transaction. If found valid, they will enter the transaction into their ledgers. Once the ledger is full, the ledger is sent back to the network. This ledger is technically called a block. Before sending back the block, miner needs to do one additional thing of encryption. Bitcoin encryption is based on an algorithm known as SHA-256. Consider SHA-256 as a machine which takes an input, processes it, and produces an hash value as an output. This output is very sensitive to the input, which means even if the input is changed a slight bit, the output hash value changes completely. SHA-256 produces the hash value within few seconds. However, reverse is not possible. That is, you cannot find the input from a given hash value. The only possible way to find the input is to do trial and error. Enter an input, see if the hash value matches, if not, try another input. Let us understand the SHA-256 application in cryptography. SHA-256 uses the ledger, that is the block, and a proof of work as an input to provide an hash value as an output. This hash value is used to encrypt the block. The Bitcoin protocols lay down the rules of the Bitcoin network. For any block to be a valid block, the block needs to produce a given hash value, which means the output hash value is predetermined by the Bitcoin protocols. Since the output is predetermined and we already know that we need ledger and a proof of work as an input, the only thing missing here is the proof of work. It is miner's job to find the proof of work such that the proof of work, when put along with the ledger, will produce the required hash as per Bitcoin protocol, and as per SHA-256 algorithm, we cannot reverse engineer the input from the output. So the only way out for the miners is to use computing power and try all the different permutation combination of proof of work up until the output given by the proof of work matches with the required hash as required by the Bitcoin protocol.
Hacking a blockchain network. Hacking of blockchain network is very difficult because of the following reasons. First, proof of work. Suppose in a blockchain of 10 blocks, hacker wants to hack the second block. Then he will have to perform proof of work, that is solving complex mathematical problems, not just for second block, but all the remaining blocks thereafter. Second, consensus. Since blockchain technology uses consensus, that is 51% or more of the people agreeing on the same thing, it is important that a single hacker or group of hackers own or control 51% of the entire network. Third, availability of huge resources. As hacking of blockchain requires huge proof of work and 51% or more of the control of the network, these will require huge resources, costing maybe billions of dollars. It is very, very difficult or impractical for a single person to control such massive resources. Such challenges in hacking the blockchain network is what makes the blockchain network secure and reliable. So when blockchain provides such secure transactions and eliminates the need of intermediaries like banks, why does India want to ban Bitcoin or any other public cryptocurrencies? Let us try to understand. First is inadequate laws to regulate. India wants to regulate its money or any other asset via institutions like RBI and SEBI. Now, with the case of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, it is very difficult for to classify it as an asset or a currency. Government cannot make up its mind as to the classification of the same. Again, the bigger problem is that blockchain provides anonymity. That is, it cannot be identified who pays to whom. Now, just think in context of India. If Bitcoin is used as a payment system or currency in India, it may lead to more civil unrest. There is already a lot of international and political propaganda to promote violence in India. So, till the time there is anonymity, India may not openly promote use of Bitcoin. Another issue in Bitcoin is scalability. At present, Bitcoin can just process 7 transactions per second. Think of it in context of companies like Visa or other payment processors like UPI. At present, Visa can process 50 to 60,000 transactions per second. Third, uses too much electricity. BBC in one of its reports has stated that Bitcoin mining uses more energy than that used in the country of Argentina. And at present, not even everyone uses Bitcoin. Imagine if more people would use Bitcoin, the energy wasted in Bitcoin mining would be costlier than the currency itself. Fourth reason is China. As per the recent data, around 65 to 70% of the Bitcoin mining takes place in China. China has banned the use of Bitcoin in its own country, but the mining is not banned. Use of Bitcoin in India can increase dependency on China. Again, if we see the pie chart, where is decentralization? If we see the top four big players can come together and can control the entire blockchain network. The whole purpose of Bitcoin or blockchain here may be defeated. So, will India not adopt the new technology? Well, India may not use cryptocurrencies, but we have already started using the underlying technology, that is blockchain. Niti Aayog, the think tank of India, India booklet, Blockchain, the India Strategy Part 1, have given various examples on which the blockchain technology have already been used, and also has mentioned about the future use of the same to maintain database such as land records. Also, RBI in one of its publications has mentioned about considering the launch of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which works on the blockchain technology but will not be decentralized. Rather, RBI will regulate the same. The ways in which CBDC will differ from the normal currency is that at present RBI distributes cash through banks, but in case of CBDCs, there may be direct distribution of currency from RBI to the people using smartphone apps which may act as a wallet. Also, because of using CBDCs, cost to print, mint, distribute, and maintain physical money and related tax evasions may be significantly reduced. So let us see where this Bitcoin or blockchain journey reaches in India.